Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders, let's talk Penguins and Rangers, but let's not talk about Flyers, cause they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny, which no one can deny.
I thought you were going to do the thing. I thought you were going to take it away.
No, I put the logo up. Oh, you want me to?
All right. Well, no, that's okay. I just was unsure of what you were doing because you said this was yours. You wanted to do it. So I was letting you do it.
In my hands, I have the top 7 most embarrassing ways to lose a game. This is from the home office in Walpack Township, New Jersey.
And where?
Walpack Township.
You don't live in Walpack Township.
No,
What's
but this
Walpack
list
Township?
comes from that's where the headquarters is. So that's,
Whose headquarters?
Number 7 on the list
Did I miss a meeting?
is being shut out. Number 6 on the list is being shut out at home.
Okay.
Number 5 on the list is being shut out at home, giving up only 1 goal, so losing 1-0.
Okay.
Number 4 is shut out at home, giving up only 1 goal, but outshooting the opponent by a margin of 44-27.
I'm sensing this is centered around a game.
Number 3 on the list is being shut out at home, giving up only 1 goal, outshooting the opponent 44-27, and the opposing goalie is a former player from your team that you brought up.
Okay. All
Number
right.
2 is being shut out at home, giving up only 1 goal, outshooting the opponent by 44-27 by a former player tending the other net, and the only goal you gave up was an own goal.
Oh.
There's one more?
I feel like that should be number 1.
Yeah.
And the number 1 most embarrassing way to lose a game is being shut out at home, giving up only 1 goal, outshooting the opponent 44-27 by a former player. Only goal allowed is an own goal, and that own goal goes off of a star player that you traded for from the team that just beat you.
So that was more an extension of number 2.
They were all an extension off of each other.
No, I get that.
So
A lot of very
this
specific.
all happened yesterday.
Different games?
The Devils
No,
lost
this all
to
happened
the
in one game.
Sharks.
Wow.
The Devils lost to the Sharks, even though they outshot them by a margin of 44-27. Mackenzie Blackwood got the shutout, and the own goal went in off of Timo Meyer.
Good old Timo. Pop those
How
goals in.
embarrassing is that?
How did it go
And
in
that
off of him?
Was
How did it
today's
go in? Like, was it like in the crease and it just went off a skate and that was
shot,
it?
shot, rebound. He was crashing the net to cover the crease, and it bounced off of him.
That if like he did like Steve Smith style, I think that would be a little bit
No.
more embarrassing. But yeah, that's what
Still
I
embarrassing.
kinda
Still
pictured.
embarrassing that you were the star player that they went out and acquired, and your former team came in and put a hurting on you.
Well, listen, it could have been worse. The Devils could have given up 2 goals, right? But then they have a goal called back.
They did, but it was blatantly a goal that should have been called back. But I don't know. Isn't a 1-0 shutout even more embarrassing? You're like, if we could have just scored 1, we could have gotten it to overtime at least.
I think there are more embarrassing ways to lose a hockey game.
I think you're a dickhead. So all right.
I'm just saying you could have a 5-goal lead at
Well, you know
home,
what?
and then you blow it. And
You
then
know what,
lose the
asshole?
game.
You should have fucking
think that's a
prepared
little
for the
bit
show,
more.
and then I wouldn't have had to do that right now. I could have done it during my segment, and everybody would have been happy.
Listen, I'm just saying.
Shut up. Yeah, we get it.
Just saying.
Good boy.
Nice going, buddy. Fantastic. We'll be right back.
We're not going to be right back. You should have cut that a little bit.
Well, I just cut it off where he says we'll be back with Tom Brokaw. That was even too soon. Is it too soon? I don't know.
Is he dead?
Isn't he?
Aren't
Aren't
they
all
all
the
dead?
great
All those-
newsmen dead?
I mean,
Famous ones.
Which one is
I'm
dead?
still trying to figure out Walpack Township. I mean, I've never.
Yeah,
heard of
yeah,
this
I
stuff.
don't know.
Where
So what
is
home
that?
office
West
is
corner
that?
of New Jersey.
I googled the town in New Jersey with the smallest population.
is that
It's
Northwest?
He always picked a random
Yeah.
city to be the home office for the night. Apparently, not a lot of big David Letterman fans in the group here.
I watched him like in college. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a bit.
Tom Brokaw's
I don't-
still alive, just for the record.
Who's
Oh,
the other?
good.
Ted Koppel?
Excellent.
Ted Koppel still alive?
Who was the good luck bro guy?
Yeah, who's good luck, bro?
Dan
Jones?
Rather?
I don't know.
It could have been Dan Rather. Well, it was only those three, right? It was Tom Brokaw,
Dan Rather's
Dan
still with
Rather,
it.
and Ted Koppel.
What about
Koppel's
Peter
still with
Jennings?
it.
Where was he? Wasn't he a guy?
Who?
Oh, Peter Jennings.
I feel like he was
Peter
a guy.
Jennings. Yeah.
Oh,
Peter Jennings. Yeah, that was a good one. Good call,
Yeah.
Bill. Well done.
died August 7, 2005. That's the one.
Mhm.
That's when they named the trophy after him, I guess.
No. That's free. Did he
What?
play goalie?
There's a Peter Trophy.
The Jennings Trophy.
No.
Do we have a bump yet?
No.
Do we have that sound bit yet? How do we not have that bit? No, not that one.
Just anything with Billy. That's what we.
Ah, yeah.
Ay. So hey, listen, the NHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony was evidently tonight.
What? Really?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They made a big thing about
Yeah.
it that nobody knew about.
Yeah, well, there's a full active schedule of games. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, there's an afternoon game today too. Buffalo Montreal played an afternoon game today on this Veterans Day.
They call it Remembrance Day, but okay.
Yeah, they're both Canadian teams.
Oh.
Why would they even care?
The whole the whole country shuts down.
Bill, let me talk to you about geography. Buffalo
Buffalo's fucking
is in
Canada.
New
Fuck
York.
Buffalo, they're Canada.
Buffalo is in. So we have an NFL franchise in Canada. Then
Yeah,
I don't
Buffalo.
think that we do.
they
I
play
don't
the
think-
Canadian national anthem in Buffalo. I mean, Jesus, what do you want?
That is a good point. So there, I'm gonna cut to the chase and talk about the three main people going into the Hall of Fame. Pavel Datsyuk, Jeremy Roenick, and Shea Weber. Is there like a benchmark like for forwards? It's what 500 goals, right? That's the benchmark. Unless you're
500,
Pierre Turgeon, who finally gets in.
900 points.
I think it's 500 goals gets you into the Hall of Fame.
Like that.
And that has to be because Jeremy Roenick, there was nothing else other than a video game for Jeremy Roenick. And listen, he wasn't, I don't know, did he dominate the sport? He wasn't a dominant figure in the sport. He was scoring 50 goals when it's seeming everybody was scoring 50 goals. But he's a 500 goal scorer in the NHL. To me, that's Hall of Fame worthy. Is there like a check mark a defenseman has that is like, okay, he's in the Hall of Fame?
If you're better than Shea Weber, for sure, you're getting.
I'm trying to.
He's not good enough to be in the Hall of Fame, for Christ's sake.
Oh, I'm trying to figure this out. So Shea Weber. So here's his awards. Right, he's 4 All-Stars. And the 2015-2016 Mark Messier Award. That's the list. That's the list. No Norris trophies. No nothing.
Not
That's
even-
it.
You said All-Star
nominated.
game appearances?
4 All-Star game appearances.
So not
um,
even like an NHL end of the season All-Star team.
The highest he finished is second in the Norris ballot. 2010,
right?
2011, 2011, 2012.
I think that was the PK season because there was a lot of controversy.
Maybe.
Nah,
Maybe.
PK season he beat out Letang. I remember that one pretty well.
But that's, I mean, That's it. 224
2013.
goals, 365 assists, 589 points
No.
in 1,000 games played.
Maybe
If you're like a super dominant, like defensive defenseman with those numbers, sure. Yeah.
I don't know, 750 points, 250, 500. Is that too high?
No. I think winning I don't even know if that's
That's
right
70 points a season for 10 seasons. That's
I don't know if winning a Norris is like automatic.
no.
No, definitely not
But-
automatic.
It's tough because like plus minus doesn't really work really well as a a stat
He
because
scored
it's
20
Well, thanks for the
goals.
feedback, Eric Carlson.
but
He-
if he has got 0.5 per game, goals per game, or points per game, I guess. Almost 600 points and just under
Your points doesn't seem like
that. He was a solid defenseman. I mean, I don't know.
that's
he was
great.
overrated. He had a big shot. He's a big guy, but he didn't win shit. So I mean, how does that get you anywhere?
He didn't win shit. I'm trying to find his postseason, his playoff stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
in his playoff career, he played 88 games, 16 goals, and 21 assists.
not even half. That's not even half of. That's not even living up to his regular season stats.
Does he have something on the Hockey Hall of Fame people? Does he have like he knows that like somebody like cheated on their wife or something? That's how he got in.
He didn't retire due to injury, right? So it's not like his
yeah, he
career
did.
was cut short.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was like
yeah.
traded. He was one of the contracts traded to like
Yeah.
Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think
could
he
that
was
be
anyway.
it? Like more on the potential of what he could have been.
Well, I mean, he played.
Well, then
till he was
Mattingly
35.
and
So I mean,
David Wright should be in the Hall of Fame too. For
we're
what
not
they could
talking
have
like he had
been.
a shortened year. He
Agreed.
played 16 years in the league, so let's not
Yeah,
say he
Right.
So it's not like
cut
okay.
short.
Yeah.
I mean, the last season he kind of like basically in the playoffs was his last go around, and basically like he's never played since after that. That was the bubble season, 2021.
Yeah.
They went to the finals. They lost against Tampa. They got swept, or no, 4-1. But I think that was the same. That was the season he got to the finals. I think was that with Carey Price too. That they're both their last seasons together. Either way, it's basically like that was his last hurrah, and his body was broken. Like he's like, I can't play anymore. But he's 35. It's not like he's 30.
Right.
It's not like he's Mike
It wasn't
Bossy.
cut short. It wasn't cut short for sure.
Yeah, his back didn't just stop working. Halfway through a career. So it's a cumulative damage there he's taken. So I don't know. I think
with Datsuk though, he's got the hardware, but not the points to back it up. Datsuk on the hardware is a 2-time Cup winner, 4-time Lady Byng, 3-time Selke Award winner, and he was part of the NHL's 100 greatest players voted on in 2017 and 18. Only 314 goals and 604 assists, under 1,000 points for Datsuk, but he had the hardware.
The weird thing is he was only a one-time All-Star, which is such a weird thing
I know,
to
I saw that.
see when
Very
he's
odd.
basically one of the most exciting players to watch when he was playing. 3-time Selke, like you said, the Byng award I don't really think matters much, but
Didn't
the whole
come over, didn't come
What are you
over to
talking
the
about?
NHL till he was 23 though too. So that's
Okay, so it's like having a college
5
player come in then.
like
still
5
played
years
14.
off your career for a
But it's like a college
if he
player
started-
coming into the NHL though.
exactly. He didn't
no,
start at 18.
no college player waits till they're 23 unless they're
Okay, so-
finishing school.
There are some college players that are in 23, some junior players that don't make it to the NHL until they're 23. But I don't know
But
if
they're
Datsuk
not
was.
they're not
I don't
elite
think-
players then.
I don't. But that was my point. I don't think Datsuk was touted as being an elite player. He just became an elite player.
He was a very good offensive player. The defensive part was just developed, and he became Datsuk. And he had the hands, but it's very rare a guy comes into the league and like develops to be I'm not saying a sulky winner, but I'm saying like a very good defensive player when they're known to be very good offensively.
Mm.
And he had the right system around him, the right things that developed him, and he just became out of nowhere. I mean, it was kind of unfair when you think about it because, this is like early 2000s, and then they've had Fedorov and Yzerman, and then it was the next wave, and it was here Datsuk and Zetterberg, and Datsuk was the all-around player, just like the Fedorov was, and even better offensively, in my opinion, the talent he had in terms of his all the moves he had. It's unbelievable when you watch him play. He was clearly a Hall of Famer when you watched him play. Like, no one was ever going to be like, yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer when you watch that guy play in his prime through the years that they won the Cups and to many Selkies, 3. But he was also the 3 years in a row, he was the 3rd guy on the Selkie list. Presumably lost to Patrice Bergeron, I'm assuming, but we could look at that later. But
6 years top 3.
I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. He was like 6 straight years of being number 3. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So, anyway, I think he's definitely, no question, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and I think he's viewed as a no doubt about it, first ballot Hall of Famer, no questions. Roenick took a little bit of time to get in, but I do think his 500 goals warrants him being in the Hockey Hall of Fame. If he was born into an era, a later era, do I think he would have scored 500 goals? Probably not. It's always hard to do those projections, but probably not. But Shea Weber, man, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. It almost, I don't want to say devalues what the Hockey Hall of Fame means, but come on, those are not stats worthy of.
Can I complain about him making it over Elias at this point, or because he's a
Yes.
defenseman?
If you didn't, we would be upset.
Okay.
Yes. You have every right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
no question about it.
Okay. Good.
Even Mogilny belongs in the Hall of Fame more than fucking Shea
Beat me to it.
Shea Weber.
Beat me to it.
I was going to say Shea Theodore, but Shea Weber. My God. Good God, man.
Shea Theodore, is that a porn star?
No, he's a
Like
defenseman
that.
for
Bill?
the Vegas Golden
No,
Knights.
I would have. Yeah, I don't recognize that name at all.
Gotcha.
That's a very, very good call. It has the ballot been? Do we know who the candidates for next year for 2025?
For what? Porn star names?
Yes.
That's gonna be my top 7 next week.
It's your dog's name and your street you grew up on, or something like that. I don't.
They're saying Duncan Keith, Joe Thornton, and Carey Price.
Those are
All right.
terrible names
But I don't know. I think they all.
for porn
Duncan
stars.
Keith. Well, yeah, for porn stars it could be, but Duncan
Duncan Keith
Yeah.
works. Yeah,
Joe Thornton for sure.
yeah, longevity.
Yeah, and
For sure,
Carey
Thornton.
Price. I mean, he was the best goaltender on the planet for a while. He didn't win anything.
He'll get in based on who he was, his reputation.
Yes,
and playing in
100%.
Montreal and everything. Just like Shea Weber. Shea Weber.
all those
man.
Canadian, all those any good goalie that plays for a Canadian team for a long period of time and does really well will get in, like Dominik Hasek and the Sabres. Like, since he played for a Canadian organization.
That's a good stretch. Should be a first baseman.
Now, Carey Price does have a number of awards, but they're all from like one season.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
all
no, it was
24
Yeah, he won the Hart, right? He was the last one to
Hart.
win the Hart.
the
Vezina.
Vezina, the Jennings, the Pearson, all in one
Yeah.
year, which is crazy. But that was it. He got a Masterson in 21-22, but like, come on, it's because he came back from injury,
Right.
or where he had. I forget. Did he have the mental issues he had? The
Substance abuse? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think it was
Depression.
substance abuse.
Oh yeah, okay, it was abuse. But either way, that's yeah. I feel like he's a very good, very very good goaltender. I think he's a borderline guy, but he'll get in easy peasy because Montreal playing there his whole career, and obviously being
all-time winningest goalie in their organization history.
Yeah.
I mean, not playoff games, but otherwise.
And those names that I gave you before are potential. They're eligible for the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Well, Duncan Keith is going to get in if Shea Weber got. I mean, like now, now that you start looking at defensemen, it's like, dude.
Yeah. But like Thornton had 1,500 points. I mean, he's in. There's no question. Yeah. They're not going to I mean, he played forever, but it's like the accumulation of all this shit. The crazy part, he did have the same kind of thing. He's got 1 Hart, 1 Ross, same year, but nothing like no other hardware. What 4 All-Star games? Who cares? That doesn't fucking count for anything. But the numbers of points he put up is just crazy. But yeah, Duncan Keith though he gets pulled in by the obviously being a good good defenseman for number of years, 2 Norrises, 3-time Cup winner. I mean, I feel like those Cup winner guys that on Pittsburgh and Chicago all get in alone on that. Besides the fact that they were great players, like Letang will get in clearly, and obviously Malkin and Crosby. Is there anybody else that could sneak in? Obviously Flower gets in from that team. Billy, anybody else that might get a chance in?
No, I can't think of anybody else except for like peripheral guys who like were in and out of I mean, not on the Cup teams, but like guys who like came in like a Ginla and like Hossa and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. But obviously, like Kane, Taves, Keith, I think those 3 are the main 3 guys. Is there anybody else from that? I mean, Hossa was on both teams. So, I mean, I guess
Brian Campbell was on at least 2 of them, right? I feel like there was another. Who was the other big defenseman?
I'm forgetting. Yeah, it's not. Was it Campbell?
Duncan Keith and.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know why my brain's not working.
Shea Weber?
No. Shea Weber.
Who on the Blackhawks?
Yeah.
It was he wore number 7. He wore number 7. What's his name? He was another contract. I got traded to Arizona. Damn. I can't think of his name for right now. But but it might not be who you think is going to get in. So those were the names that, after doing a quick Google search, those are like 3 names that I pulled from some random article, right? And those aren't terrible names, right? Joe Thornton, Carey Price, and Duncan Keith. But first-year eligible players in 2025 will include players like Ryan Getzlaf, Dustin Brown, Patrick Marleau, Duncan Keith, as we mentioned, Zdeno Chara, PK Subban. Those names. Those guys, I mean, you just look at PK, Zdeno Chara, Duncan Keith. If this guy's getting in, those guys are no doubt about it. Maybe the question of PK Subban, but PK Chara and Keith, and I do. I think Subban and Shea Weber were along the same lines. I mean, maybe not physically, but numbers wise, I think they were pretty similar.
Well,
but I don't have their numbers in front of me to say that.
Shea got in. Seabrook was the other guy, but
Brent Seabrook. Yeah.
If he gets in, if Shea Weber gets in, how does PK not get in?
PK, I would argue PK was not a Hall of Famer until Shea Weber got in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, so I don't think there's any argument anymore. I really don't think I could argue it now.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, let's take a look at Mr. Subban. He won a Norris. He won a Clancy. Okay, what the hell is that? He was on the All-Rookie team, and he's a 3-time All-Star, PK Subban. 115 goals and 352 assists, under 500 points for PK.
No.
Yeah,
he's not a Hall of Famer. He has a lot more hardware than Shea Weber does, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
Because he only had, I would say, his best years, first 5-6 years in the league, and then
he wasn't elite enough for long enough.
No, he only scored 15 plus goals in a season twice.
Yeah, he wasn't a goal scorer.
I always equated him to be a goal scorer.
He was
'cause
supposed to
had
be an
that
offensive
bomb
defenseman.
from the power play.
Great skater, and could throw some good hits. Good, great with the puck, but he's a facilitator. I think more so than anything else.
I would have bet money he had more than 115 goals. Wow.
Mm.
Huh. But he's not. Those are not Hall of Fame
No.
numbers. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Those are not Hall of Fame numbers. But when you look at Marleau, 500 goals, even if it was because of the longevity, he still got 500 goals. He deserves to be in. Getzlaf, I don't know about his numbers, but these guys got these are the guys who have played on those LA Kings teams, those Chicago Blackhawks teams, like you guys were talking about before, and even those Bruins teams with Chara. I mean, these are the guys that should get in.
Yeah.
Out of that list, I don't know. You can Getzlaf or Dustin Brown. Who are you choosing? I think
Probably,
Getzlaf had the numbers.
He's not a goal scorer, but assists. He had 1,000 points, but only 282 goals for Getzlaf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brown was. I don't think Brown had enough of a career. He's only 700 points, and
he's got a statue in L.A. Doesn't he have a statue out in front of the arena?
Yes.
Well, the best thing he won was the Messier Award, which
I see that.
Which one's
and
that?
He's a two-time, but he's
leadership.
That's the leadership award. Yeah,
leadership award. Yeah.
325 and 387. Yeah, he definitely doesn't have the numbers, but his reputation as being captain of those LA Kings team, I think that gets him more than anything else.
Yeah.
But geez, I mean, I would take Marleau, Keith, and Chara out of that list.
Yeah, Marleau,
Jason Spezza. Yeah. I don't know. Is Spezza a Hall of Famer? Good player.
No, never.
I don't think so either.
I mean, is it Marleau? Yeah, I've argued against Marleau, right? I think I've had this argument, right? I don't think Marleau is a Hall of Famer. He played 1,000 years. He has no hardware, no anything. There was never an All-Star. I guess he played an All-Star game, but he wasn't named it. Maybe I don't know. I don't understand how is the awards here? I don't understand how it's not an All-Star. Oh, it's not first team All-Star. Is that what that is? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
I just don't get this guy. Yeah, he had the highest thing he ever hit. He hit 80 points twice in his career, but he played fucking 50 years. How many fucking years did he play? I don't know.
I don't think it was 50. I will bet the under on that one.
Almost 1,800 games. It's unreal. Oh, just forever there, and you just get in. I don't know. I feel like he's like the guy you can't let him in. He's just like you play. It's
why?
Why? He wasn't ever that good. He was an okay player, always an average player, like a very good player, but that doesn't get into the Hall of Fame. It can't.
44 goals was his tops in a season.
And he only had 40 goals one time in his career. So,
yeah, but for that era, that's not bad. Not bad. 1, 2, 3. And he had a 4-year stretch where he scored more than 30 goals.
No, that's because of Thornton, I think, right?
I mean, that's what he's boasting. That's what he's boasting.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't think he'll probably get in because he's Canadian, but he shouldn't get in.
He has 500 goals. He's going to get in. He's got over 1,000 points. There's no way he doesn't get in.
I hate it. I hate that. I hate it so much. McGillie's not going to get in. He's going to be in, and I'll be pissed. That day's going to happen one day, and I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to throw a hissy fit on the podcast when that happens.
Too.
You're not going to throw a hissy fit. Either way, you liar. You both lie.
No, I've said this I think 3 or 4 times in the podcast, for sure. So I'm definitely tripling down when it happens.
Well, congratulations to the inductees to the Hockey Hall of Fame. You somewhat deserved it.
Tens of people are happy for you.
All of Nashville is definitely happy for Shea. No doubt about it. That's about it. All right, let's take a ride in the metro. Gotta figure that out. All right, let's start with the Icelanders.
Oh, yes. Okay. I thought I was second, but all right.
Oh, were you?
Well,
Did I not?
it's all-
Did I not configure the list right?
It's okay.
I don't know.
It's okay.
Alright.
We're
Yep,
already
you
there.
screwed up. You had it
I
right
did.
on the agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't do. What do you?
it's all good.
We're
All
here.
right. Well, this week.
You'll all have to wait for the Penguins.
On bated breath. This week on the islands, so not a bad week, all things considered. 3 games, 2 wins, and a overtime loss to the Devils, which really soured the week. Which is why it's not like all positive this week. But hey, can't go too far from that. When you look at the overall thing, right? You need points, no matter how you get them. No matter if you want to blow out the out of proportion the last game of the week, just absolutely throwing a point away. That's fine. But hey, getting points is the name of the game. Not pretty in a couple of these games and how we just barely scrape by, but you get there. Isaiah George is a rookie for the Isles 2022 pick. He's been looked pretty good in camp. I didn't expect to see him this year, to be completely honest. There's a lot of, I think some of the guys that watch Isles prospects were really high on him. And I thought he looked okay in some of the stuff I saw him playing. But you know what? Because of all the injuries to the defense, he's been popped right into the starting lineup, playing alongside Dobson, and he's been playing pretty well. Keeping it simple as best you can, he's not able to do everything he normally would do because he's playing as simple as or play safe, right? It's not like you can go and just play your exact game. He's not like a Hudson out there coming out as a rookie and just skating around in circles, but he's looking really solid. Looks really good. I'm excited to see how he can continue to develop. Hopefully, he can rub off on Dobson a little bit, who's been looking not so great defensively. We've had 11 goals this week in 3 games. I mean, I think it was the opposite last week. I think we had we were outscored 11-3 last week, and this week it's a little better in the goal scoring position. 8 different goal scorers, so just kind of a spread across the board. Holmstrom had 2 last game, and he's been playing pretty well lately. So either he's going to get hurt or he's going to keep playing and get into a hot streak. I'm hoping it's the latter, not the former, because it sucks when these guys start playing well and then just immediately get injured. It seems like it seems to happen quite a bit with guys. Some of these younger guys, Holmstrom, Wahlstrom, has had that his entire career as an Islander. So we'll see. But so far, those are the positives this week. Let's look at some of the not so positive things on the island this week. We had the injuries are still there. That's the main kind of thing that we've been looking at here is we have 5 major guys out at the lineup. 2 of our top guys on the forward side, Barzy and Duclair, still out for a bit. Pelech still out. Same. They're all on LTIR, IR, but they're all the same kind of time frame. So it could be, December time frame when some of these guys are coming back. Well, hopefully, early and not late December. Romanov is now skating with the team. He's been out for about 8 games total. He was out for 3 games, missed a game, came back a game, and sat out the next 5. Is it? So that's 8 total. So he's really been out with this upper body injury. Hopefully, now that he's skating non-contact, he's getting closer. Hopefully, by next week, I'm hoping he can get back. But they're taking it slow with him. They don't want him to get rushed back. That's kind of what happened in the last. When he came back after the 3 games, he wasn't feeling right. So they really wanted to sit and get fully healed up for getting thrown back to the Wolves. Mike Riley had that nasty fall and clearly a concussion, and it's sounding like he might be out long term. not sounding great from what people are saying around the Islanders. So the day-to-day thing is probably going to be a lot longer, but we may not get much information there. Clearly, he's going to need some time to get his head right, and hopefully it's not too long. But the fact is, you have 3 of the top 6 defensemen out, 2 of the top 3 forwards out. It's rough. But with those guys all out, they're still putting up a fight. I was still playing well-ish, but it's not like it is a big disappointment. To see that all these guys out one time, and especially this early in the season. But if they can keep float, obviously it's not the end of the season, and maybe these guys can come back and turn it around. Lone leads have been rough this season. 4 games out of 15, we've allowed a goal in the last 5 minutes of the game. 2 goals, by the way, in the overtime loss to the Devils this week, which was pretty brutal. We were 3-1. I think they scored just about 7 minutes to go to get that 2-goal lead at home. Looked pretty good. Looked like the game was over. And they went into that prevent defense that just prevents you from winning, and just to take a term from the NFL, and just kind of like let the Devils, just walk all over them in the last couple minutes and score twice, once with an empty net, and then go in overtime. Had a odd man rush that turned into a breakaway the other way when it didn't go well, and a nice little goal by Jack Hughes to end the misery in that game. But that's the main thing, is like watching this team lose the leads has been the name of the game this season. It's brutal to watch. It makes me really not want to watch the games, to be honest. Defense being just really a real tough thing to watch right now. Dobson has been he was a major player on at least one of the Devils' goals. I think the third goal, I think it was. He basically was the second goal. I can't remember.
The third goal was with the goalie pulled, so there's nothing really to do about that.
It was the second goal. Guy coming in, and he just all he has to do is lift the stick. But he was at position to start with the odd man rush where he went to go for a check. He hits the check, but like he's at position now. He didn't take the other guy out of the play, so now he's got to rush back and gets there in time. But like all he's got to do is lift the guy's stick, and the amount of effort. If you watch the replay, he just looks like he's like checked out when it's like the littlest, poke check he just gives, and it wasn't nearly enough. And it's just been kind of a microcosm of his play this year. He's been really defensively lost, and offensively trying to do too much. But I'm really concerned with his play this year, because this is like his year before I think we have to pay him next year. So if he's playing this way the rest of the year, it's going to be hard to see what they're going to do. They could try to move him. I mean, they could try to lowball him, but it's going to be rough if he's playing shit and they may not give him a big deal. They may have to see him play another year under a bridge deal if it's going this way. But, he's really regressed this year. It's really kind of disappointing. Hopefully he can turn around. Hopefully it's just maybe he's been trying too hard to do too much, and Wah hasn't really reached out. It hasn't really, I guess, connected with some of the things with him. But I'm hoping that he can turn it around and figure out how to get under Dobson's skin and get him to get to that fire back under him that he's had prior. Obviously, Mayfield's in that pile of pylons you're seeing there. So hopefully we'll find him one day, and I'm really ruining the 7-year contract we gave that guy because it's just have to watch him play for more years. Brutal. Anyway, next slide. Let's get out of this one. I'm just kind of tired. Look at that one. So special teams. Listen, we're up from 29th to 28th and 30th and 31st in the power play and PK this week. I mean, a little better. We're getting
climb a ladder progress. One rung at a time, Nick.
One rung at a time. Maybe by the end of the season, we'll be mediocre at best.
30 more weeks.
I can't ask for much more than mediocre. If we can get to the middle of the pack, I'd be so happy. Clearly, we talked about it. Injuries are still there. We're not going to have a full lineup for a while. We moved up a little bit in the attendance list. We're now the bottom 7. We got a little bit ahead of the Senators and the Flyers in terms of capacity and our average of our games this year. So, people are a little more excited to see a team when they're not losing every game. But I'm sure that'll hopefully get a little better throughout the season, especially if they get some more wins. And we'll see how that goes. And the last slide this week, schedule coming up. We got the start of a 5-game road trip. Oilers, Vancouver, Seattle. There's 2 more games next week after that. Couldn't really fit in here, so they're not there. But with that said, tomorrow's gonna be a good game. Obviously, it'll be fun to watch. I'll try to stay up for it. I'll probably pass out. And then we'll see how the rest of the trip goes based on that. Hopefully, Romanov can make the trip. I didn't see if he made the trip or not. I know he was practicing today, but I didn't see anything else out of the beat writers if he traveled with the team or not. I'm guessing he is, but I don't know if he'll end up playing on the road trip. Hopefully, if he's feeling well, get back in the lineup and maybe get at least somebody back. And I think at this point, we're hopefully past the worst part of the season, hoping this is the point where we start to get up there.
Every time somebody says that, Nick.
Just hoping. Yeah, we're getting there. We'll see how it goes. So that's
well, hey, listen. Good luck, bro.
Yeah. Now, listen, everything said, I've been pretty negative. Islanders are sitting 4 points back of the Rangers in 5th spot, and the Rangers are in 4th spot. Now, Rangers have played 2 less games. However, it could be a lot worse. I'm just saying, it is not all dire straits, but they are playing a little better. I think once guys get back,
money's for nothing. A few weeks, kicks for free.
It'll get there. So that's my week.
We'll see. Billy, Penguins.
Sure. It's going to be a lot shorter. I think we're just going to get shorter and shorter with these segments. So the Penguins. I saw Nick's stats about blown leads, and the Penguins are just like, hold my fucking beer. It's hysterical that that's supposedly bad what the Islanders are doing. The Penguins have had 2 games this season where they have not trailed, I guess, or at the very least, if they didn't trail, they've blown multiple goal leads in all those games. Any game that they've won, besides 2, they've blown a multi-goal lead at some point and either trailed or were tied. There's been only the 2 wins that were sort of comfortable, and one of those wins where they never trailed was a 2-1 game until they scored in the empty net. So I don't know how comfortable that one was. It's ugly. There's not really a reason that the Penguins should be as non-competitive as they are. I don't feel like looking at the personnel on that team that they should be this bad, but they are. So tonight they lost 7-1, 6 first period goals. It was a non-game. I mean, and that was interestingly, that was Tristan Jarry had finished his rehab stint in the AHL, his conditioning stint or whatever they were calling it. And he was brought back up, but he was not on the roster tonight. He was a healthy scratch. And so it was Blomqvist, who'd been playing the best out of everybody in net all season, who got the start against Dallas. And he got shelled, and then Nedeljkovic came in and also got shelled, and just nobody was effective. So interesting, that Jarry comes back from that stint, and they still went with the other guys, and the other guys kind of, I don't know, maybe they were feeling the pressure here in the footsteps. I don't know, but Jarry, interestingly, had a very strong stint for his first 4 games in the AHL, and when his time there was ending in his last game, he gave up 4 goals on 19 shots. So he had been like with a GAA under 2. He had been with a save percentage of like the mid 900s. and then just a clunker to end it. So typical Jarry fashion, he kind of, if you're ever feeling optimistic about him, he kind of like takes you down a peg. Jarry too is, I don't know what they're planning to do now at this point with him. I kind of hope that, they were just showing him around, hoping that he would have that strong showing in the AHL, just so maybe, at some point they can move him. I mean, if they are ever able to move that guy for, obviously for nothing in return, if somebody just wants to take most of his salary, it would be a big help. And I just don't even know if that's even realistic. So, everything's ugly with the Penguins. And all I would really say is I'd kind of like Dubas at this point to open his fucking mouth and say something about the direction of the team or any kind of plan or just say something about this shit show and, conspicuously quiet. So I'm not going to, that's it for the Penguins. Literally and figuratively, that's all for the Penguins.
Are there a lot of GMs that speak during the course of the year, though? So I don't know. I think you're asking too much of Dubas. I think you are. And this coming from a guy who has Drury as his GM and just doesn't say jack shit.
Fitzgerald just did an in-between period segment on the Devils broadcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think it's just depends on the GM.
Yeah, I guess
I think though, when you were acting like you were going to challenge for the playoffs, and Lord knows I knew that wasn't going to happen, but when you're talking about like challenging, getting the team like to rebound and get back to the playoffs, and it's this bad, through a quarter of the season, I think you might want to say something. That's all.
Yeah,
might not be a terrible thing to do. All right, let's go to your defending President's Trophy winning New York Rangers. By points wise, they are in back of the Devils, so we'll go with Rangers next. Go Devils last, even though the Devils have 570 winning percentage still.
I thought you were going to say they've played 570 games this season already.
But it seems like it. How do they play back to back this weekend? It's unfathomable.
It's all gonna catch up. I think not next week, but the week after. The Devils are off like 5 straight days.
Wow. Unbelievable. But look, the Rangers record isn't that bad. And that's about the only nice thing that I'm going to possibly say about the Rangers game lately. You have to go back to October 22nd before they really had control. That was the last time they had control in a game. And that was a game against the Montreal Canadiens. Every single game that they have played, and they've won more than they have lost, they have not been in the game. They've scored opportunistic goals. That's it. They have been pinned in their end basically the entire game. Against the JV Islanders, they were pinned in their end. Against Ottawa, they were pinned in their end. You let the fucking Buffalo Sabres and Lindy Ruff come into Madison Square Garden and blow your fucking doors off 6-1. Are you kidding me? And look, the whole Fox and Keandre Miller experiment. Okay, thank God that's over, because those two as a defensive pair for your future together suck. Don't ever do that again. And look, I know that you're going to lose Trouba next year. I get that you're not going to re-sign Lindgren next year. So Miller and Fox are going to be your 2 highest paid defensemen, and that's where you want your future to be. That's not your future. Whatever you do, that's not your future. Do something else, because that is not your future. Keandre Miller is having probably one of the worst defensive seasons I have ever seen a New York Rangers defenseman have. And I have lived through the late 90s, early 2000 New York Rangers, where they had some abysmal defensemen. Abysmal.
Tom Poti.
Not mentioning names here. But, man, you have to do something to be competitive. And guess who comes to Madison Square Garden tomorrow night or tonight, whenever the hell you're listening to this on Tuesday night? The first place Winnipeg Jets, Jets. And if you don't play halfway decent, you're going to get your doors blown off by that team. And you're going to let Corey fucking Connor come in and score a hat asterisk at minimum. At minimum. Something has got to happen. Something's got to turn around. Look, the Rangers aren't in bad shape. They have the best goaltending in the NHL, and I don't think that's even debatable at this point for what Jonathan Quick is doing on the back end and what Igor is doing starting. Everything else, though, I mean, Artemi Panarin, he's your superstar in the regular season. It's yet to be seen what he's going to do in the playoffs this year, but man, and it's impressive what Kreider does year in and year out. Those are the only bright spots that we can talk about on this Ranger team right now. Everything else sucks. They need to get it together. They need to play good, solid defense that will turn and lead to offense. I don't really care if you play the entire game in a left wing lock and just bore the shit out of everybody for 3 periods and win the game 1-0. It's not going to be, you can't be any worse than what you have right now.
It's a very embarrassing way to lose a game if you were down with it.
I would agree. But listen, I've had that on my checks the last couple of weeks, and I thought they were going to come out of it, but they still haven't come out of it yet. So it's probably better to put everybody on blast, so maybe they wake the frig up. And look, even when they beat the Red Wings on Saturday night 4-0, they were not competitive in the second period. They were 18-8 were the shots on goal, and they were pinned in their own end for most of that second period. Jonathan Quick was fucking stellar. Stellar he was. This week they got a home game against the Jets tomorrow night, as I mentioned before. Then 2 nights later against the pitiful San Jose Sharks, who come to town. And then they start the West Coast, Western Canada swing with a date against the Kraken on Sunday night. And listen, you swept that road trip last year, and it basically catapulted your rest of your season. Anything less than that, well, I think asking for 5-0 on a road trip is tough in any season for any team. But maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need to just go away and get away from things right now and gel as a team. I'm hoping that's what it is. But one very, very difficult game, one trap game this week, and then you start your West Coast trip. Fucking Lindy Ruff. Steve Devils.
It's such a good week when Tom has such a bad week.
And wait, we didn't have a bad week?
No, but just to hear how negative you are and your whole putting them on blast in hopes that you're reverse jinxing them, it's just amazing. Actually, you brought up a very great point. The Western Conference, the road trip, the Canadian road trip did the Devils pretty good because the Hughes Palat Bratt line has been gelling ever since they got united during that trip. So they finished the trip up with a 3-0 win versus Edmonton last Monday night while we were recording. Jake Allen with the shutout, and just Hughes has been on a roll since. 3 points in the next game versus Montreal. He had another couple of points against the Islanders, including the winner in overtime, like Nick mentioned. And that 3-game win streak was huge for this team. I mean, it's just been great. They haven't had a 4-game win streak since January of 2023. So it was kind of upsetting to see them get just demoralized. I don't want to say crushed, but demoralized by the Sharks and Blackwood. Again, you're saying they're really terrible. I mean, they are terrible, but they're also they're an NHL hockey club. So you gotta give them some respect. Just going back to that Islanders game, the Devils completely stole that game. I feel like the Islanders really just absolutely had control of that game for 55 minutes. And then with 5 minutes left, they get the Devils get the second goal and just tied up late. And then the Hughes break, the Hamilton pass off the boards to Hughes, who was goal hanging a little bit, puts a good move on and nets the winner, but just stole that game for sure. This week coming,
pass, by the way.
Yeah, it was a nice pass, but just absolutely goal hanging. And this week coming up, Tuesday at Florida, Thursday at Florida. A weird quirkiness in the schedule. It's actually the first time they're ever playing back-to-back games on the road at the same venue in a non-pandemic shortened year in the history of the franchise. They've done it at home a couple of times, but this is the first time they're doing it on the road. And then Saturday in Tampa, and that is the Devils for this week.
All right. Well, let's go to the weekly WTF.
This is Yvonne Bell.
All right. Well,
Who are we going to fucking eliminate this week? What hotness are we going to eliminate this week?
You were wrong, pal. Deal with it.
I was not wrong.
You were
Bullshit,
wrong.
I was wrong.
You were wrong. Deal with it.
Tom, when you have a mic in front of you, you actually don't need to shout.
It's a democracy.
That's all right. So
I really, if you don't know, I'm very heated
He's
today.
passionate.
Very heated.
oh, okay. All right, so I'm just waiting for my slideshow to come up. Likes to
We're
dawdle.
waiting for
some
someone to
reason.
put that up there for you.
There we go.
No, go.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're walking through it again. We got in round 2, we got Bonnie McMurray and Olivia Rodrigo. Reminder of Bonnie McMurray, reminder of Olivia Rodrigo.
Had to go with Hog.
I
Just pissed Tom off.
I know. Doesn't make sense.
Ooh.
But now we are in week 3 and we're going with the old ladies. So the theme here is these are these were women who had a very major impact in my puberty stage, I guess you might say. Yeah.
I mean, you're
so
stage.
Uma Thurman versus Jennifer Connelly. So here we are starting with Uma Thurman, 1988 film Dangerous Liaisons. I think hers might have been the first boobies that I ever saw, and that had a major impact on me. So
What year was that?
1988.
88. The first boobies
Yeah.
you saw were 9. I beg, there's no way those were the first boobies you saw. 1988? No way. No way.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I was 13.
Maybe on
and,
TV.
maybe yeah. Maybe they're the first ones that kind of hit me the way they hit me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right. Well, that's
oh,
okay.
I'm definitely not gay. Okay. So there was that.
Inspired him
so-
so much through his own set.
So she was, born in 1970, and this film was out in 1988, by the way. And I find it real close, real fishy that she was in that scene, when it came out. I mean, there was only a couple of months of a window for them to do all the
record it.
editing after filming the scene, and for her to have been 18, I'm really just not sure. But that's neither here nor there. So, of course, she's been in some great movies: Johnny Be Good, Mad Dog and Glory, Beautiful Girls, The Truth About Cats and Dogs wasn't such a terrible rom-com for rom-coms. The Producers, Paycheck, Be Cool, My Super Ex-Girlfriend, and then of course Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill. Anyway, that's Uma, and she's going up against Jennifer Connelly. And if you know me, I got a thing for girls with that black hair. They're second on my list to redheads. So Jennifer Connelly, also, the 1990 film, what was that called? The Hot Spot. Yeah, I was still a teenager for that one. So yeah, so it's the old ladies. Of course, she was in the recent Top Gun Maverick and a pretty good TV show on Apple called Dark Matter. If you haven't checked that out, she's had a few films also. Okay, so anyway, it's voting time.
Christ.
It's voting
Which ones
time.
you like better?
Boy.
Yeah.
I'm
So what are we
I'm
thinking?
going last because I don't want everybody to dogpile on me. So I'm going to go
All right.
last this week,
Well,
jackasses.
I'll go first for it. I'll break the ice. Jennifer Connelly, easy peasy. I've always been a big fan. There you go.
I don't think I would have either of these two on my list at any point, and I don't know why, but I'm going to go Jennifer Connelly.
Well,
It's unanimous.
it's unanimous. All
It
right.
can't be
It's
unanimous.
I mean, look at that set.
It can't
it's
be unanimous because we picked two different people.
It was unanimous.
What are you
Talking
talking? Are you listening to the show? You listen to the show while you're doing it?
He picked.
See, when you listen back, you're going to laugh.
My fault. Okay. It's unanimous then.
So that was pleasant to think about when I've been rooting for the Penguins, and also, this week just can't get off of this whole Giants and Jets thing and how bad they are. I know we're not all New Jersey people. By the way,
they're giant.
We used to argue about the Giants and Jets being New Jersey teams and not New York teams because they literally play in New Jersey. As a New Jersey person, I just don't give a fuck anymore. You can have them, like New York can take them. Jesus God, they're so bad. But I'm curious this week about like the Giants and Daniel Jones. So Tom is a Giants fan, and anybody can answer this really, but as a Giants fan, have you realized that Jones is a fucking bust yet, or
yes, we have known that for
I don't think it's ever been the fans questioning.
Well, we questioned it going into last season because of what he did in that one glorious season and even that one playoff victory. That was great, and there were such high hopes going into that season, and man, they fell flat on their faces. And now it's to the point where, I think Dave Brown was a better quarterback than Daniel Jones, and that's saying a lot. They're both from Duke. Remember that. Both from Duke. But at this point, what does it matter going to Drew Lock or to Danny DeVito? What does it matter? What does it matter? This season is lost. Keep Daniel Jones in there to ensure you get the number 1 overall pick. That's the only way you're going to secure the number 1 pick is to leave that mother in there.
Interesting. Yeah, I was wondering if you guys made it to that point yet, because looking back at the past for the Giants and the Jets, or the Blue Jets and the Green Jets, as we like to call them, the Giants, like, they've only had 3 first-round picks at quarterback since 1979. You had Phil Simms, and then you had Phillip Rivers, who became, who morphed into Eli Manning. And then they had Daniel Jones recently. And so you guys haven't had that experience of all these constant busts. Like the Jets, though, since 2000, had Chad Pennington in the first round, Mark Sanchez, Sam Darnold, and Zach Wilson. And the interesting thing there is they didn't like Pennington enough to keep him around. They progressively got worse. Like, all of those picks progressively got worse. Like if you thought Pennington was bad, here's Sanchez. If you thought Sanchez was bad, holy shit, here's Sam Darnold. And then Zach Wilson, even worse than all of them somehow.
I think there was still hope with Sanchez. I don't think there was any hope with Pennington, with Darnold, or with Zach Morris. I think there was at least hope with Sanchez. He went to 2 AFC title games.
He was the least talented of all those guys. Are you kidding me?
It doesn't matter. He still brought your offense to 2
the Jets have ever had. And it wasn't even close to talk about the defense they have now compared to even last year compared to that.
Wasn't it back-to-back AFC championship games too?
And
didn't he beat Roethlisberger, Manning?
Barely got by. The whole thing was don't turn the ball over and we win because the defense was that good. That was it. They just had to do whatever they could do.
Why are we listening to this guy? His team lost to the Buffalo Sabres 6-1. Why are we listening to him?
God, here we go.
At least when he gets shot at home by the Sharks.
That was just my curious question.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out if the Giants have felt that pain of that first round bust like the Jets do over and over and over and over again. So
yeah, it sucks really bad. It sucks really bad. Thanks, Bill. Thanks. All right, let's go into State and Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
This one's going to bring us to the year of our Lord. What did I say? 2018?
Or just leave that on the screen for a second.
2018. Why, you like that?
Well,
is that a fave? You like that?
No, I don't.
Let's go to July 29. July 29th.
July 29th was a Sunday. There was no breakfast at.
Oh, maybe a brunch?
chicken salad sandwich and some hash browns for lunch. Went out and watched. We went to the Somerset Patriots game that night, and as you do when you're at a baseball game, had a hot dog and a Coke Zero. Tom, why did you pick Sunday, July 29th in the year 2018?
That was obviously the day that this happened.
Oh, boy.
No recollection of that happening at all.
At all. The store sells good liquor. I drank a lot of it that night.
The viral video shows Robbie Stratton running through a convenience store with an alligator in his hands. He takes the animal in the beer fridge as well.
I don't even remember coming up here.
We asked Stratton where the alligator came from.
No clue. No clue. I literally came to the store and he was in the back of the truck. They told me what I did was stupid and I'll be facing some charges here soon and probably go to jail, probably not. We'll see.
He says he regrets his decision and he's been in contact with the FWC.
That seems pretty tame for Florida, man. Just saying.
Yeah.
Who is the FWC? Is that the group that oversees where you can bring your alligator and not?
Yeah.
Federal
That's right.
Wildlife Commission.
Oh, that's like Will Ferrell and Jay and Silent Bob.
I feel like
Yeah, exactly.
he stole beer, right?
Yeah. Stole
With
an alligator.
I think that you're bringing a wild alligator under your arm into the convenience store and scaring people.
It's not like it was on a leash. He was holding it.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Would it be better if his mouth was taped? The alligator's mouth was
I feel
taped.
like then there's no charge. There's no possible of any issue if the mouth is taped.
Got it. But it's a typical Florida man move.
Yeah.
What that was right there.
No,
That
the
was
typical Florida
very
man move
typical.
is yeah, I don't even remember doing that. Like, A, he was that drunk, and B, it was such a common occurrence that it didn't even register that would be something you're not supposed to do.
There you go.
I just can't fucking believe it's like November already.
I can't believe we dragged that shit out over an hour.
Yeah. Incredible. No agenda.
Told ya.
Got there, boys.
I told you.
Well done.
Yeah, no, it's
It's on cruise
Christ.
control at this point.
it's not even November, it's the middle of November practically.
Yeah, we're approaching Thanksgiving.
I know. Thanksgiving's late this year too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the end. It's like 28th or something, 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah, guy shot out 2 days and you say yeah.
What happened
Oh
there?
no.
Oh no.
Oh no. We got booted.
What are we looking at? I don't even know what we're looking at.
StreamYard has lost access to your Twitch account. Don't worry, we've got you covered.
Our account is currently suspended.
Oh no. Maybe
Oh,
from
no.
Oh no, they know that I'm.
Did we get suspended for our
Uh-oh.
content?
the practical
Right.
boobies that were on the screen, maybe.
Tom, did you read
Oh,
the-
boy.
the
I had cherries on them.
conditions?
Sexual content.
See?
Oh,
Billy.
Always. Guy
Oh,
can't stay on
no.
Twitter and he can't stay on Twitch. Anything with a TW, he's fucked.
no. Wow.
But-
We got
but-
flagged.
What what are the guidelines?
I'm guessing
I'm
it
sure
was
it's,
close enough to bare breasts.
Yeah, they have I'm sure no one's licking.
Digital, my name, Copyright Act, blah blah blah, la la la.
Okay, well, let's not read this while we're doing this. Let's wrap up the
Yeah.
show,
Think.
We'll fix it later. Fix it in post.
and then you can.
Well, we're for 7 days. We're suspended for 7 days on
Okay.
Twitch, all because of Billy.
Hopefully, that starts today, and we'll be back on next week.
But they were covered. I don't understand That's
I'll have to
When's,
take out that slide.
We have to recategorize ourselves as hot tubs and girls in the right,
I just
the
do a
right,
better
right
job.
category there.
No more of those.
Did you put the cherries on there, or
Yes. I did.
Maybe we'll have to scale that type of
Maybe
slide
make
back.
them oranges or I don't know.
All right.
What? Bye, Tom. Thanks for swinging by. Who leaves a podcast in the middle of the podcast? Who does that?
Yeah, I mean, it's
What
the. It
Just
was
back here pretending you didn't leave.
2 fingers on the friggin' mouse pad, and all of a sudden you go back a web page. Apparently,
Jesus,
on
pal.
Apple. Good Lord.
You're a podcast.
All right, great. We're done. Billy, say something, Woody.
Oh, my Twitch, I am sorry for my sins.
How many years has it been since your last Twitch failure?
Wait, that's it? I thought you had more prayer going.
Oh, you want me to do the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, my Twitch.